Hi, it's me again, your spiritual guide for this now. I'm Jane. Hey. I hope that you're doing really, really, really well wherever you are in this now moment. So last video, I was sharing about the the heavy, dense energy of like fear and suppression and judgment and all of that stuff that's like holding the the rainbow light, kind of like preventing this ultraviolet high photonic energy from fully coming in. So I want to dive a little bit more into that and expand it a little bit, especially after what happened here in the city in which I live. And y'all, you cannot make this up. I'm so excited to talk about it. So this light that's coming in from the source of energy, the big sunshine thing. So we have the sun, the star that we see, right, go up and down. There's a way bigger sun behind it, y'all. Like it's like I am the great central sun, and then we have our sun, right? And then you've got this like little baby like bloop, that's the earth. So like we're so teeny tiny in this whole experience, period. And something that I just find hilarious is that there is a they, so I'll just use the word they think that they can prevent that sunshine energy from coming into this atmosphere and this human experience. So the funny thing is that as that energy comes in, as I talked about in the last video, right, this like ultraviolet high frequency light, it's photons, it's plasma, it's literally it's source energy. It's going to come through. Like it's going to happen. And not only is it going to happen, but it is an integral part of our evolution. We are evolving and changing because I am holding more light. It's like a plant. If you give it sunshine, it will evolve, it will grow, it might make fruit or flowers or something of that. And then it allows the roots to have more energy to go down deep, deep, deep and get like the nourishment from the earth as well as the nourishment from the sun. We're like that. Okay, we're really like that. Like it's so nuts how we're so much like a plant. So this energy is going to come in. I don't care what any kind of blockade system you put in, you cannot stop what is coming in. You can attempt to block it, you can attempt to refract it. And that's what the they is doing. That's what the they has been doing. The they have been spraying aluminum particulates that refracts the light, so that we don't fry, so that we don't get too much of this solar energy. And they're saying that we're going, we have all this global warming, and the reason they're doing it is to prevent that, and blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. Some of that is a lie. Some of that is extreme bullshit. And it is impacting our evolution. We're also going to evolve either way, so it's really fine. Like laws of nature, like literally life always wins. Like, have you ever had a driveway? Like, you know that because you can just look at the dandelions and weeds that are always growing. Like, life actually always just prevails because it's life. So, anyway, so these aluminum particulates that they're spraying are to refract the solar energy. It also affects us humans, y'all, and we know this because they told us years ago, stop putting aluminum um, content deodorant in your underpits because it fucks with your glands and your endocrine system and your hormone system and your nervous. It just affects the body, like in a not so great way. And they were like, "Wow, why are so many people getting all these cancers? Huh? I wonder." So they're literally spraying it in the sky. So here's the thing: it's coming down because we do have the gravity system, right? So it's like great. So these like itty bitty micro particles are coming down, into the water, into the grass, onto the fucking garden, like all the things. Like, it's ridiculous. And the thing that just kind of gets me is that no one consented to this. We didn't consent to this. They didn't send out some questionnaire or some flyer that said, "Are you okay with us doing this?" They've been hiding it and they haven't been telling us. They did not get consent. They are taking advantage of the earth and her children without consent, which is like the way it's been for, I don't know, a really long time. As soon as, and we've seen this with humans when the colonizers came and they're like, "We're taking your land, we're taking most of your culture, and if you don't abide by us and call the God that we call the God, then we're just going to kill you." So it's been in our program of the Matrix for so long, and taking resources from the earth without actual consent, no reverence, no sitting with the trees before they're cut down, right? No asking the ocean if it's okay to completely bombard her with all the plastics and garbage and waste. Like, no heart. No heart at all in the they. And I don't like to separate because we're all one. And that's the fucked up thing, is that we're a part of that, the they. So yeah, reconciling that one, that's a whole other nugget. Anyway, so the they is doing all of the this without our consent. And I'm tired of it, y'all. I am. Like, are you kidding? Like, ever since I was a kid, I was always like, why is there litter on the ground? Like, why is humanity so blind to the mother? Like, this is such a beautiful home, y'all. We got such a beautiful home that we call Earth. God, it's so beautiful. And we got all these turd burglars that are just like legit shitting all over it. And it's not even real shit. Like, if it were real shit, then she could at least use it as like fertilizer and there'd be all these other beautiful things that would grow. Aha, but no. They're using plastics and metal. The two things that we humans are not made to put in our body, because our bodies are not designed to metabolize plastic and metals. We are not robots. We are human. We are made of life and earth, water, electricity, and sound. That is us. We are legit not made to put on or in us plastics and metals. We're not. So we're always, many of us are, doing like heavy metal detoxes and, being real fucking clear about what I'm drinking out of, my gas, and I live in a house with like real wood floors and making sure that I do all these things, and I'm still fucking being sprayed over my head with this shit. I didn't consent. So, question one to everyone that watches this is, how can we stand up and actually say no? Who do we say no to? Because I feel like whoever the fuck it is that I'm voting for in whatever office, mayor, governor, super, what the fuck ever, I don't even know. Like, who are they? Like, half of them are in denial. They're not even awake to half this shit anyway. And they're always working on like this like civil disputes about who lives matter and aborting the who's and what's in, and let's just keep them fighting and distracted. Let's keep feeding them plastics and let's make them addicted to sugar and let's put them in front of TVs. Yeah. So that half of us aren't even fucking talking about this. And the reason why it just bugs me so much is that it alters our ascension process. It alters our rate and ability to evolve. So here's the thing. The energy is coming in regardless. It just is. So the way I see it is, if they just left that shit alone and let this energy come in as it naturally would, we would naturally be going through the stages of evolution. So we would be taking on this light and expanding, taking on this light and expanding. And we would be in this ebb and this flow of how this light comes in and be like the light and the light and the shadow, right? It's legit the pulse of life. That is a part of it, right? So instead what's happening is they're like, stay in the dark. Refract, spray, and da 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 da. And then one day or 2 days or a week or what the fuck ever, they don't. And then we're like, what? So and then we go through this like hangover thing, and then we're a little bit wobbly, and then we're like a little disoriented. And it's like keeping that disorientation going, so that we don't have what we feel like we're then like out of time, and the time doesn't feel right. And I mean, the time matrix is like completely being ripped apart anyway, so yay to that. That's gonna be a big mind fuck for a lot of people though. Anyway, so this ascension is gonna happen, period. The earth is moving into a totally different frequency, because it's all energy. There are some people that are going to be able to survive it and live on it, and then there are others that will not. Okay. And then what the hell are we going to do with all of the beings that are basically just plasticized human robots? Robotoids. Is that a thing? A robotoid. I don't think it ever would be a word, but you know what I mean. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm kind of over this. And what really sparked this whole thing is what happened this morning. Y'all, check it. So I usually will like leave a window open because I just like the sound of all the birds and all the cicadas and all the katydids or whatever is like squawking in the night. I love it so much. It brings me so much joy. And um so last night I didn't leave my window open, and hashtag grateful as fuck, because I get up this morning and I opened the front door and I was like, shut the door, and I was like, what the fuck was that? The smell of I don't even know what, like hit me in the face. And some are saying that it smelled like gas. I've smelled gas and it did not smell like gas. It smelled like it was made to smell like the gas. Because, you know, I mean, you know that like the gas, natural gas doesn't have a smell. So they add whatever the fuck it is to make it smell the way it smells, so that if there's a leak that we can like pick up on that. So it smelled like it was supposed to smell like that, but it didn't smell like that. It burned way too much. It like burned in my nasal cavity for the one breath that I took. It was so uncomfortable. It was so pungent. And I was like, this is not normal. This is not okay. Like, grateful that I didn't have any of my windows open. Shut the door. Like an hour or two later, I went back outside and kind of took a little whiff, and I was like, oh, yep, still, like it was so strong. And it rained last night. Yeah, it rained for like a couple hours. And I don't think it like really did anything weird temperature wise. Like I've been so many places where the temperature's like hot and cold. Anyway, so today that happened. And then I'm seeing what the news stations are reporting that was. Now, mind you, it wasn't just like in my neighborhood. This was a city-wide thing. Okay? What? But like that's so weird. Anyway, so the news stations are like, it's due to a weather inversion. Now, I understand what weather inversions are. Cold air on the bottom, warm air on top. When you live somewhere that has valleys, right? You experience this. Because it just happens. And it can happen when you what is it, there's a city in California, it might be LA, it's like a bowl. I know there are certain cities that are shaped like a bowl. Okay, like Asheville, North Carolina is one. It's a bowl. And so like I can understand, right, how that colder air would be here, and then the warmer air would be on top, and that warm air would hold in pollutants, right? Smog, things like emissions from vehicles, you know, shit like that. So what the news here is saying that they're saying, what they are saying is that it's a weather inversion, and it just held in pollution. And I'm like calling bullshit on this, and I'm like, does anyone else feel this is bullshit? I've had so many people message me because I posted it, and they're like, yeah, I knew that wasn't fucking real. Like we're like, duh, that is not real. Even if it were weather inversion, which it didn't feel fucking cool this morning. It didn't. And with all of that, like it wasn't, but even if it were a weather inversion, we'll just like placate the they in that and say that it was a weather inversion. Can I get a hell no to whatever the fuck that smell was? That was not normal. And I don't live in a bowl. This area is not a bowl at all. Like, this city is not a bowl. In fact, it's more shaped like this as opposed to this. So that. So I sat with this and I'm like, okay, like, what is it? Right? Because I get answers that way and I tap into that, the realm of fucking consciousness and life. And I was like, ooh, weather weapon. Like, for all those, like, bioweaponry. Um, so we know that the we're in a war, right? So, like, we're in a spiritual war. It just is. Energy is moving. Call it light, dark. Call it, which is really not dark and it's really not light. It's just different frequencies. It was like the last video when I was talking about, like, the thing that, like, dense consciousness. So it's the dense consciousness and the lighter consciousness. Well, because it's recalibrating and moving and shifting, it's going to feel like a war because it's chaos. Chaos feels like war sometimes because its shit is bouncing off of each other, and some things are shifting and transmuting and some things are growing and expanding. So it's going to feel like what we would call war, right? Some things will be dying. Call it humans, call it systems, ways of being, whatever. Bullshit culture. Not like loving culture, but like the culture of, like, I'm going to control you and you will abide by my rules. Anyway, so feels like we are in an energetic war. Okay, the heavy dense consciousnesses, the they are wanting to hold and control. So the they are using new weapons, right? They're not going to use, like, tanks and bombs and guns. No, they're not going to do that. Like, that's just like old school shit. Like, come on now. Like, um, however, they will use psychological weapons, biological weapons, and frequency weapons. And they're doing that. I got a download today, and I'll talk about it in another now in more detail, but I got a download today of how one of the frequency weapons are being used. And it's two different harmonic frequencies that are being emitted in a way that creates an extreme static distortion, and it takes our natural frequency and it just, like, lowers it a level or two, but we're consciously aware of it so that we don't necessarily try to get out of it. Anyway, we have psychological war, keeping us in fear. Keep us in fear, keep us in fear, keep them in fear, keep them afraid of each other, keep them afraid of the government, keep them afraid of the leaders, keep them afraid of other people that are different than the this, that, or the other. Keep them afraid of not having enough, right? Let's keep them controlled and oppressed, right? So that, let's keep telling them that they should be ashamed of this and ashamed of that, and they should feel guilty because this, that, or the other, and let's gaslight them and tell them that what they're experiencing isn't even real in the first place, and just, like, all types of, like, complete psychological mind fuckery. Like, that's a part of it. And then we've got the biological weapons, right? And if some of you experienced the COVID season, that was a big taste of it, right? um the, what is it, the Tuckasegee experiment, that was a part of it back in the day. Smallpox blankets, that's a form. um and the biological is through a lot of things that they tell us that we need or have to put in our bodies, with certain ingredients in them that we literally don't need. Again, as life forms, we do not need them. um and they're putting it in food. If you look at the ingredient list of package A and B, and they're the same thing, but one is made here in the United States and one is made over in this other country, the ingredients are different. It's like, oh, 5 ingredients, 25 ingredients. 20 of them, we don't know what the fuck it is. And they have tripled and quadrupled the amount of sugar, right? So those are types of biological weapons that also affect our psychology and our natural frequency. So using these 3 methods of weaponry will affect the body, the mind, and the spirit, right? Because we are the trifecta. We are the Holy Trinity. We have these 3 components that make us up. The I am is the oneness. And we fractaled off into components that we can identify as to work together in this one unit of the I am. It's the body, it's the mind, and it's the spirit, right? The spirit's the energy and the heart. The body is obvious, and the mind is this like, let me think it all out. So I'm really enjoying the sunset and the way it's coming in. It feels so nice. Anyway, um, conversation with Flash. So it's an attack on the body, mind, and the spirit, and you cannot just attack one, right? Like you can't live without one of those three, right? You can't take the I am and say, I am, but I don't have a mind. No, you can't live without a heart and your energy. Like that legit is what holds your ass together. And the physical form is the container that like gives you all the pleasure and the sensations and stuff, right? So these weapons, if you will, are to attack the body, the mind, and spirit through the bio, the frequency, the energy, and the psychological. So, my question to myself and to you is, I just answered it in my head before I asked, how do we like fight back? You know, because like I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. I'll also like punch you in your throat and I don't give a shit. But um, for all of you who may be sending, I'll say, inappropriate things to my email, don't cross the line because I will kill you. Anyway, but how do we fight back, right? Like, so for me, the answer is like, well, I keep my frequency as high as I fucking can. I see it all in neutrality. I don't freak out. I don't feel fear about it. I don't judge any of it. I just see it like I'm watching a TV show. Like I call it the fucking hologram because it's technically what it is. And I'm like, whoa, this is so messed up. Like, yo, this episode of the hologram today is nuts. You cannot make this shit up. I am tired of kind of watching the same thing on repeat. So I am kind of bored. So I guess that's where the creative energy, the creator energy kind of comes in and comes online to us and through us so that we create new ways of being, create new systems, create new communities, like create new friendships and relationships and just like in that like high frequency, high vibe kind of space of unconditional love. Radical acceptance, it's the key. True story. And like that's the only thing that I can think of is like to just keep my vibe really high, come together, like turn off the media when it comes to stuff like what happened this morning. You know, I got to come back in my house, which meant I didn't go for a walk this morning. I didn't get to do the gardening outside that I was going to do this morning, but hey, it's okay. I did other things and it was fabulous. But you know, I listen to frequencies all the time from a friend of mine that I adore, which I'll put the link on here for the frequencies that I use because I don't use like YouTube frequencies or whatever else that you can just find because it's going to be altered through the platform in which it's even put on. Um, but I know someone, he's a dear friend, and he has a great company. It's called Listening to Smile. I'll put the link down there. I'm an affiliate because I actually use this shit for like medicine and healthy well-being. But I'll put the link down there with my code so that you can save a bunch of money and you can download the albums and you can listen to frequencies in your home. You can put on your ears. Like I've put on my body when I've had like back pains or something, and like it literally attunes your physical and energetic frequency. It helps our brain. It's like it's frequency medicine. So I'll put the link down in the doodly hoo so that you can click it and get it. Highly recommend. So like that's part of the medicine and the way that I keep myself healthy and well. I'm still going to connect with spirit. I'm going to sit out in the sun when I can. When they're spraying a lot and the sky that was blue has now got this weird like white sheet over it. Hashtag my right now. You know, I'm not going to be outside as much. You know, um, but I also know that like I carry a force field and electromagnetic field that's so fucking like great and high frequency that it's actually not going to hurt me. And that's also part of it. It's a belief, right? So that's part of the mind. So not letting the mind kind of take us down the rabbit holes of like, this is going to kill me and I'm going to die and this is killing the earth. Like, get that shit out of your mind. Like, because whatever it is that we believe as a collective is actually what's going to be made manifest and for us to live in and live through and create with and upon, right? So, what I do is I keep my beliefs in check and remember that, like, it's all a hologram. It's all good. I'm divinely protected. I am divine. We all are. And almost like what's in my highest good is going to come to me like a magnet and anything that's not going to serve me is actually just going to bounce off. And I'm going to hold my frequency, right? So I'm going to dance and I'm going to play and I'm going to do my yoga. I'm going to go for walks and runs. I'm going to lift weights and do all the things so that my body feels really good and I'm alchemizing and transmuting. I'm going to eat really healthy and I'm going to make my own foods and I'm going to have my garden I'm going to take care of my body, my mind, and my spirit so much while I'm still actively creating through this thing and also bringing to light what is actually happening. Because like I can't like spray anything back up. Like that would be really cool if I could though. um, maybe I can just imagine it and something could happen. But anyway, so I mean I can't really do that, right? But what I can do is, you know, keep in my mind's eye and my heart clear blue skies, real clouds, um, trees growing, life prevailing. Like I can imagine and just and hold that as a truth that that is what the earth is, you know, and not focus on the shit. However, be aware of the shit so that the energy that I'm putting out, holding this in, is a part of this like sacred anger and rage that I'm literally transmuting into creation. Because it's such a beautiful energy. I'll talk more about that in the next now because that one's coming in really big too. It's about the energy of anger, and I want to talk about that, but I don't want to talk more than 30 minutes. So anyway, more stuff I feel is going to be in the awareness of others. Like I've been knowing about this stuff for quite a while now, and I talk about it in groups and with friends and all the things, and I'm like, I am just like, insert eye roll. This is stupid. Like, can we get into the next realm, the next game, the next level? And I know that's where we're going. I'm just impatient sometimes, and I just don't care how. I want it now. But you know, patience is a part of the program that I get to grow in. Triple fire zone. I'm like, let's just burn it away. Maybe not the best idea, but whatever. So, my invitation is to click on the link that I'm putting down in the doodly who, get yourself some frequency music, and just play it as much as you can. That's my invitation. Take care of your body. Do cleanses. Repair your gut. Super important. If there's like energetic support, physical support, emotional support to keep your body and mind and spirit like in alignment and like aware so that you have the knowledge so that when we know, then we know what to do with, right? If I don't know, then I'm kind of like left in the dark and I don't know which way to turn. So, you know, my invitation is to bring the things to light. And if anything is causing, if it elicits a lot of fear or like, oh fuck, oh God, oh God, oh God, you know, turn it off, even if that's me. And you're just like, ah, this is too scary. That's cool. Just keep breathing and you can put your head in whatever sandbox you want and trust that when you come up for air that, you know, you'll be able to handle some news in a different way. You know, and if not, you put your head back in the sand and it's all good. You know, then your butt's up in the air and that's just adorable. Wink, wink. I would go around squeezing everybody's butts. Um, anyway, the visions in my head. So, yeah, take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit, each of them, and always remember that you are one I am. That you are one holy unit of life force energy, that you are made of light and you are made of sound, and that you have a voice. And this voice can be used to say yes, and it can also be used to say nope. And we, I think, are collectively and individually like learning how to say yes and no in a lot of different ways, in ways that is honored. There is a thing about natural law and divine law, and consent is actually key, and it is a part of it. Um, so like no means no, even in like the spirit world. So there's that. But if we don't know what to say no to, then how can we say no? Then we just get taken advantage of, now don't we? Super fun. So anyway, I'm sitting here rubbing my legs. Okay, get my shit back together. So anyway, take care of you, take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. If there's any support in any of those realms through this now or any timelines, please hit me up. I won't have space for any appointments this month, but I'll have some space available for August appointments. So if you want a one-on-one session, then please send me a direct message of some sort, and let me know and we can set something up. So, yeah, enjoy these days, my friends. Enjoy these days. They're an interesting time to be alive. The hologram is coming to life. Ooh, it kind of feels that way. Anyway, yeah, I love you. I love you so much. Be well, stay well, and love. Love big, love hard, love long time. Yeah. I love you so much. I'll see y'all soon, okay?